Hello there and welcome to another video of Library Astro. In today's video I'll be talking about a book going by the name of The Anxious Generation, written by Jennifer and Haidt. I'm sure we've all been aware of the constant use of smartphones, tablets and so forth. We see kids the age of 4 always on a tablet, already know how to unlock their parents' phones, and we're seeing that kids are getting more and more less social as the time goes on. You still see kids in the park here and there, but I'm 28 years old, right? And when I was 9 and 10, in the summer, every single weekend, the park was full of people, full of kids. So, and back then we didn't even have phones. Well, we did, but we didn't have, smartphones. And some kids didn't even have those Nokia 3310 phones. And we still managed to always go to the park and meet the same people around the same time. We just knew, we're more social, we're more outgoing, we're more outside, not much inside. Even when the Xbox came in, PlayStation 3, we started to stay indoors a lot more, but not that much. We still went outside, played football, ride bikes, skateboard, all sort of things. This book goes on in depth in the psychological consequences which our generation faces. Not our generation, sorry, the younger generation faces through the constant use of phones and tablets, and always on social media. The book goes on to describe the consequences which the younger generation, Gen Alpha especially, faces. For example, it describes how kids from a very early age need rough play, and how this helps with their confidence, and the author backs it up with evidence and research. To an extent, it's true. Even if you haven't read the research, just by experience you would know how rough play helped you growing up, how it helped your confidence, even play fighting with your friends. That helps a lot in boosting confidence. It helps you socially. You just know social cues and so forth. Just by play fighting, you learn a lot from the human body language and the way hierarchies work, just by that small instance. On top of that, schools need to enforce bans on phones in classrooms. That's one of the suggestions the author made. And how kids having phones with them in the classroom distracts them, which is true. I've seen it. Not as much, because when we grew up, it was when smartphones just started to come in, like 2007 and so on. And it's only around when I was 16, 15, 16, that's when I started seeing people around my age group having iPhones. So they were still quite expensive back then, and people didn't really use their phones that much until the BlackBerry came out, and people were showing pins, and the BlackBerry Messenger was kind of like the WhatsApp of back then. So the author goes into this. He goes on to talk about how if enough people decide, like enough parents decide the limitation of smartphones and tablets are a good thing, and enough people come together, then policies will come along too, will follow along. But at the moment it's very difficult, and the author acknowledges this. He goes on to speak on how only if maybe two parents are doing it, the kids will be excluded from their peers. They'll feel left out, and it will have a psychological effect on them. However, if more parents decide, you know what, enough is enough, let's start to enforce bans of phones between school hours, to put them in lockers, and then when school's over, or when the kids are on their break, they can use it, or when school's done, then they can get back their smartphones, to encourage kids to speak to each other, to be more social. Because let's face it, extroversion is the majority of the human population. It's a majority trait. Introversion is a minority trait. Most people are introverts, most people are extroverts, or in the middle. Introverts are a minority, and there's nothing wrong with being an introvert, but you still need that interaction, human interaction, and that's being killed with all this new technology, social media. So if you're an introvert and you're always on your phone, you like even that little interaction you could have with people dissipates, because most people are inside now, you know. So it makes it even harder for you or them. And I was quite lucky, even though I myself, I'm an introvert. I grew up in a time where people were outside. You know, you'll play maybe 2-3 hours of your console and you go outside. Even in winter, you just go outside. You meet people, you walk around. Nowadays in winter, you won't see anyone. You won't see no one in the park, do nothing. But back in my day, I know I sound old saying that, back in my day, we'd play basketball in the winter, football in the winter, sports that will keep you warm. And then in the summer we do the same thing and more. Nowadays you don't see that. So yeah, this book is a factual book, non-fiction. Yeah, it's based on, it's more of a psychological should I say genre? No. Yeah, psychological genre, but not fiction. It shows the effect of social media and how it affects how people view themselves. And we all know kids are very impressionable people, so impressionable young humans, and we know how social media can affect how they view themselves, how it could warp their sense of reality. So if you're someone that's concerned about these sort of issues, this is the book for you. I've read more books in more depth, but this one's is good enough. It's for someone who wants to know the basics first of the psychological underlying effects of social media. Yeah. And how it can lead to depression and other mental health issues. So if you're someone who's studying psychology, this will definitely be the book for you. Yeah. if you're someone that's trying to write anything, a novel or an essay, it'll be good to check this out for good reference. And with that being said, keep reading and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye bye.